So, good morning, Boker Tov. And this session we'll do a meditation on 5 aspects of impermanence. These are from a great Indian master named the Sangha. And they're in the book on page 14, I believe. We haven't yet had a chance to talk about them, but they're pretty easy to understand. They're pretty much self-explanatory. And they're just like 5 different ways that impermanence reveals itself, and 5 ways we can understand impermanence. And the source of these 5 is this book called Samsara, Nirvana, and Buddha Nature from the Dalai Lama and Thupten Chödrön. They're on page 54 and 55. They're actually part of 10 points about true dukkha from a Sangha, but only the first 5 of the 10 points are about impermanence. So I thought contemplating these would help us to deepen and expand our understanding of impermanence. So let's begin by getting into a comfortable and conducive position for doing meditation. Try to have your back straight, but have the rest of your body as relaxed as possible. Try to let go of any tension anywhere in your body. And let's bring into our mind a positive, altruistic motivation for doing the meditation. If you're comfortable with the idea of becoming enlightened, like the Buddha, to be able to help all living beings, then you can think you're doing the meditation for that reason, that goal. Otherwise, if that's difficult to think of, then just feel the wish to benefit other beings as much as you can. Help them be relieved of their suffering and causes of suffering. Help them have greater peace and happiness and the causes of those. And think that you're doing this meditation in order to be able to do that, to be of greater benefit to other beings. Okay, so the first aspect of impermanence is the impermanence of change. And this refers to coarse impermanence, the kind of changes that we can see with our eyes, know with our senses. So some examples of this is that human bodies, our own bodies and the bodies of others, go through changes as we go through life. We're born, we grow older, and eventually we die. So there's no human body that can last forever. They always come to an end at some point. And then also things around us, things in the environment, even things like mountains, oceans, cities, and all the objects we use, food, vehicles, buildings, medicine, clothing. So all of these things are also impermanent and change And in some cases, we can actually see the changes with our eyes. Those are coarse, obvious forms of impermanence. So spend a few minutes thinking about that. Bring to mind examples that are relevant to you of this type of impermanence. And then the second type of impermanence, or the second aspect of impermanence, is called the impermanence of perishability. And this refers to subtle impermanence, the changes taking place every minute, every second, every nanosecond. So all impermanent phenomena change all the time, constantly. They don't remain the same from one moment to the next. And this is why there are coarse changes. You know, when a building wears down or is broken down or burned down, or when a body dies. So that kind of obvious change, obvious impermanence happens because of the subtle impermanence that's happening all the time. As soon as something comes into existence, it starts to change. It's constantly changing, and as it changes, it gets older and starts to become perishable, and eventually it will disintegrate or die. It will go out of existence altogether. So bring to mind some examples of this. You could think about bodies and how they age and change. When bodies are young, they're usually quite beautiful, quite attractive, but then they change as they get older and lose that beauty and have a different kind of appearance, which we may not find so attractive. So beauty is impermanent. and other aspects of impermanence on the physical level. But there's also, on the mental level, knowledge and skills, abilities, and so on. Those can also deteriorate, mainly because of the deterioration of the body and the brain. So somebody may be very intelligent and sharp and have a good memory when they're younger. Then as they get older, they become more forgetful, lose some of the knowledge they had and the skills they had, and so forth. So just think about some examples from your own experience of this subtle kind of impermanence that's taking place every moment, leading to more obvious, coarse changes. The third aspect of impermanence is called the impermanence of separation. So here we reflect on the changeability of our personal situation and how without any choice we sometimes separate from desirable circumstances. So examples of this would be, at one point in our life we may be healthy, but then we can become ill. Or at one point we have freedom, we can do whatever we like, we're independent, but then later we may lose that freedom and other people are trying to control us, or because of illness or age, we may become more dependent on others, helping us even with basic things like eating and going to the bathroom and taking a shower and so on. So we lose our freedom and independence. Another example would be relationships. So we may have a happy and flourishing relationship at one point in time, but then circumstances change and that relationship may fall apart, or the person may pass away, and thus the relationship itself disappears. So think of some examples from your own life or the life of others that you know of this type of impermanence. The fourth aspect is the impermanence of the nature of things. So this is explained as, although we may not be experiencing the impermanence of change or the impermanence of separation at this moment, we will in the future. So we may not be experiencing separation from the things that we like and cherish and want to stay together with, but inevitably at some point in time, at some point in the future, that kind of impermanence will occur. So there's no way that we can continue to have whatever good circumstances we may have at the present moment, because the nature of everything in samsara is change. And then the fifth of the aspects of impermanence is the impermanence of the present. So this is the perishability and separation that we presently undergo. So we can think about changes that are happening today, this hour, this moment. Even the fact that one moment happens and then it immediately ceases and becomes the past and is no longer existing, that means we are separating from, we are losing the present moment, whatever experiences we had in that moment. They're slipping into the past and then become just memories. So spend some time contemplating that. Try to recognize how each and every moment of our life, of our existence, there is change. and separation taking place. So when we contemplate impermanence, we might feel sad, even depressed, even despair. We may also feel resistance, like, I don't want to think about this. Why do I have to think about this? The purpose of the meditation is not to make us feel unhappy or like the situation is hopeless. It's simply to realize how things really do exist. Impermanence is a fact. It's there. It's happening all the time. But we normally don't look at it. Don't pay attention to it. Don't live with the awareness of the impermanence of things. And then this can lead to problems such as not knowing how to manage when changes do happen. Sickness, a loss of a loved one, or our own mortality. We can be overwhelmed by difficult emotions and even negative emotions. So being more accepting of impermanence helps us to be more prepared when changes do happen in our life. To have a more realistic view of ourselves and our bodies and our life and others and so on. And then there's the positive side of impermanence. The fact that our body and mind are changing means that we have the possibility of changing ourselves. Buddha found a way to do this and taught us how to do it, how to work on our minds and free our minds from suffering and the causes of suffering. Well, if it weren't for impermanence, we wouldn't be able to change, transform ourselves, and reach enlightenment. And that's the real purpose of doing this contemplation, to generate the aspiration to become enlightened, to transform ourselves for the better, and then help others to do the same. So let's complete this meditation by making a mental dedication of the positive energy that we have created by doing the meditation with an altruistic intention. So let's share this positive energy with all other people, all other beings, wishing that they will achieve genuine peace and happiness and be free of all suffering and its causes. Thank you.